Genesis 14 is a landmark chapter in the Bible that recounts a significant event in the life of Abram, later Abraham, involving war, rescue, and a mysterious encounter. The War of the Kings. The chapter begins by describing a war between two coalitions of kings. On one side, 4 kings from the east: Kedorlaomer, king of Elam; Amraphel, king of Shinar; Arioch, king of Elasar; and Tidal, king of Goyim. On the other side, 5 kings of the plain, the kings of Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim, and Bela, Zorah. For 12 years, the kings of the plain had been subjects of Kedorlaomer. But in the 13th year, they rebelled. In the 14th year, Kedorlaomer and his allies came and defeated several peoples, until they finally confronted the kings of the plain in the Vale of Siddim, the Salt Sea. The rescue of Lot. In battle, the kings of the plain were defeated, and Sodom and Gomorrah were plundered. Among those captured and taken captive was Lot, Abram's nephew, who lived in Sodom. When Abram learned that Lot had been taken prisoner, he acted quickly. He gathered 318 trained men from his own household and pursued them to Dan. At night, Abram divided his servants and attacked the enemy kings, striking them and pursuing them to Hobah, north of Damascus. Abram managed to recover all the plundered goods, as well as rescuing Lot and his family, as well as the women and the rest of the people who had been taken captive. The encounter with Melchizedek. After the victory, upon his return from battle, Abram had 2 important encounters. Melchizedek, king of Salem and priest of the Most High God, Melchizedek, brought bread and wine and blessed Abram, saying, "Blessed be Abram by the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High God, who has delivered your enemies into your hand." In gratitude, Abram gave Melchizedek a tithe of all he had recovered. This is the first record of tithing in the Bible, and the first mention of a priest other than the lineage of Aaron. Melchizedek is a mysterious and prophetic figure, often seen as a type of Christ. The king of Sodom. The king of Sodom came to Abram and proposed that Abram keep the goods but give him the people. Abram, however, refused the offer, swearing to the Lord, the Most High, that he would not take even a thread or a shoe strap for himself, so that the king of Sodom could not claim to have enriched him. Abram allowed only his men and his allies, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, to take their due share. Lessons and meaning. Genesis 14 is rich in lessons and meaning. Family fidelity and courage. Abram demonstrates his loyalty and courage by rescuing Lot, even though it meant facing a powerful army. Trust in God. Abram's victory is attributed to God, and he acknowledges this by giving tithes to Melchizedek and refusing the spoils of the king of Sodom, so that the glory would go to God alone. God's sovereignty, even in the midst of human conflicts. God's hand is present, and he is the possessor of heaven and earth. Melchizedek's appearance is theologically significant, pointing to a priesthood superior to the Levitical, a theme explored later in the New Testament book of Hebrews. He represents the figure of the King of Righteousness and King of Peace, bringing blessing and accepting Abram's tithe. Abram's integrity. Abram's refusal to accept the goods of the king of Sodom demonstrates his integrity and his dependence on God for his prosperity, not on pacts with the world. This chapter highlights Abram's faith, righteousness, and dependence on God, setting the stage for the future promises and covenants God would make with him.